Hey everyone, Emily Roberts. I'm either your diamond upline or diamond sideline, and we're going to talk about why you're here. You're going to hear this all the time in your business. Your why, and your why should make you cry, and yada yada. You're just going to hear it over and over, and it's because it's going to consistently change and evolve. For instance, I joined for weight loss and I'm here now to be debt free. Like, you see that those are two very different extremes. My health was very important to me, and that was something that I was working on at the time. I also had one child. I now have three. So I'm providing for three children versus Scott's like, are you sure about that? So our life was certainly different 6 years ago. So I'm here to encourage you guys tonight with stories of other people's whys that are now jewels on our team that have been here for 5 or 6 years. And they just kept fighting on and fighting on. And I can't wait to share some of these things with y'all. So in the chat, go ahead and share that pivotal moment for you. Like when you decided, I think I'm going to do this. I'm all in. That moment where you saw a promotion, or that moment where you promoted, or maybe you were taking the products for a couple of weeks and you were like, okay, I'm all in. Share that moment in the chat, please. I want to share it out loud on the recording, but most importantly, I want you to type it out, to physically type out the moment that you were like, I'm all in. Okay, so I'm going to share something from a couple of the jewels on our team. So we have a brand new Emerald, Lauren Smith, and I asked her, I said, when did it click for you? Like that moment, the paycheck, the child, what clicked in your brain that told you in that moment, like, I can do this? And she replied and said, when she saw her upline achieve the rank of gold, and it was posted on Facebook. So she's, she joined and she's like doing this thing, and all of a sudden, her upline's like silver, and we didn't have senior silver then, but then her upline's gold, and she's like, okay, I'm all in. So maybe that was you. Maybe that was your moment where you saw someone else do it and you thought to yourself, okay, if they can do it, I can do it. That kind of was how it was for me. I was constantly watching diamond documentaries, constantly, because I wanted to feel inspired, but I also wanted to see other moms that were busy and tired and exhausted and all these other life instances that were happening, because I was like, they can do it, I can do it too. And it's amazing if you keep telling yourself that every day. I told myself that for 15 months before I finally joined Holly, because I kind of secretly hated it and made fun of it, but I also was so eager to be a part of it. And maybe you felt that way too. So I loved that when I asked that question. She's a brand new Emerald now, but she's like, no, I think I decided to go all in when someone else promoted to gold. I just thought that perspective was super neat. Lindsay Joseph, another new Emerald on our team. She said, I was 3 weeks in and I felt human again. I knew I couldn't keep it to myself. So entirely different. The products, her being on the products and feeling like a new version of herself, a new mom, is the reason why she started sharing. And I love that. I often say to people on our team, like, yo, if you ain't sharing about this, you are selfish, because there's someone going to bed right now tonight praying and asking God for just some sort of relief, or to feel better, or for answers. Just there's someone out there somewhere praying for somebody like you to help them. And that, like, the first time I ever heard someone say that to me, I'd never thought of it that way, because this business, even though it's for others, it sometimes feels very self-centered because we're in sales. So we feel like it's a me business, but it starts with us. It starts with me. Right? I felt a certain way, so that pushed me into enrolling or getting started. And then that is what led to our conversation and why you began, right? It's like a ripple effect. So it is selfish if you don't talk about it. And I love that that is the root behind Lindsay's why, or her first why, was the way she felt, and she couldn't keep it in anymore. All right, the next one. Allie Mortensen on our team. She's my level 1, my ride or die. She's been with me since the beginning. And I love what she shares because it's totally unexpected. She joined for the business, which is very rare. And she said, day one, I saw the comp plan and I knew my work ethic and trusted it. Heyo, that confidence is killer, and I love it. And that's why she's a senior Ruby ambassador on our team, because she knows what she's going to put her focus into. She's a 110%er. And if you know what you're great at, you can do this too. I mentioned that on a Facebook Live in our team page the other day about know your strengths. Like if you're not the funny kid in the class, don't try to be funny and make jokes, because people are going to see through that. And they're going to be like, bad joke, right? Or if you're someone that can hit me in the feels and, you know, talk to me about your anxiety, or talk to me about your children or that last pregnancy, or maybe lack thereof, maybe you're struggling with infertility, talk to me about that. You know, a lot of people use Facebook as an advertisement, but I prefer to use it more like a diary. Blogging and putting yourself out there is like wicked exciting and terrifying all at the same time, right? And I think that it's super important for us to dabble in that and share more and more. I got this text message that I'm about to share from a level 1, and she's someone, she's a friend of my mom's. They went to high school together years ago. She found me on Instagram and had been following. And I know when people join, I never know what to expect. I mean, sometimes someone will tell me, you know, I'm all in, or I think I want to do this, or I'm just here for the products. It's my favorite line. I'm like, yeah, I was too. We're all here for the products, most of us, except for Allie, right? But Margie on our team texted this to me, and I love it. She said, well, holy smokes. I watched your video last night, the one about getting real, and then I prayed really hard because I hadn't reached out to anybody yet. That was part of the challenge, right? To reach out and to talk to people you weren't normally talking to. Like, yeah, make a social media post, but do the work. She hadn't done that yet. And she said, well, guess what? I signed up an ambassador today, and I'm sending out 2 3-day challenge boxes. Heck, I might be a silver. Thanks, love. So that just goes to show, this is someone in their mid or late 40s, early 50s. I'm not sure how old she is, but this is a business for everyone. And you will surprise yourself. It seems so terrifying. Here's a fun example. My kids have, we have a new pool, and my kids were learning how to swim and just jump off the side of the pool, which, like, we're adults, so it seems so simple. Like, get on the side of the pool, jump in, mom and dad may or may not catch you, get a floaty, whatever, right? And watching them over the last 3 months go from insanely terrified to like wanting to do front flips into the water is blowing our minds. Like, Scott and I just sit there, we're like, what? Like, now we're like on the edge because they are so fearless and they want to do everything. And I love that because it's just like us in our businesses. It's that fear of the unknown, possible fear of rejection. Well, just like them jumping in the water, you know, they might miss their float, or their float might float away, right? Or I may or may not catch them when they jump in. The same thing in your business. When you message someone, be proud of yourself for having the confidence and being a person of good character that cares enough to message them. Because that one person you've been thinking about messaging, someone else is going to message them. And next thing you know, you're going to see them trying something else, or Plexus from someone else. And you're going to be like, dang it, that could have been me. And I've had that one too many times happen. Scott's over here shaking his head because I'll complain to him. And he's like, well, you should have reached out. I'm like, I know, but they scared me. And he's like, why? So I just want you to think about that. I want you to jump in. Most of the time, little kids will stick their feet in the shallow end, right? Or they'll play on the steps. Stop playing on the steps. Jump in. Get wet. Have fun with this. Think of Margie and how she finally reached out to someone and they were like, yeah, okay. I mean, why not? Why not? And right now, everyone is working on their immune system and their health, and they're ordering things online. So, you're more likely to get a yes. I'm going to share another story. Okay, Leah Weldy. She is a new Emerald ambassador on our team. A mom, a former nurse. She stepped away from her nursing position to do Plexus full time and stay home with her kids. And I just love her story so much. This is what she shares. I was a new silver 6 months into taking my products, and I watched a video from Diamond Laura Robinson. I totally related to her being an ER charge nurse, and I knew I wanted to go all in too. So if you don't think those Diamond documentaries are making a big difference for people in your team or in your life, think again. Use that as a tool in your business. use it as an inspiration piece for when you're following up with level ones. If you feel like, I just don't know what to say to them, I want them to take their products and they're not being consistent. All right, well then send them a diamond doc and say, you know, if you won't drink your pink drink, will you at least watch this? And in 5 minutes, send them another message and say, what did you think? Because then they're going to feel kind of obligated to watch it, right? But I love that. I love that she found inspiration in someone else and saw in her that she could too. Brooke Kleberger, she went emerald and now she is sapphire and she is working towards diamond, and she'll be the first diamond on our team, which is just so cool. And she said, when I went back to work after a 6-week maternity leave with Ellie, my heart hurt. I decided then that this would be my way out of corporate America. Many of you work in corporate America now, whether you're teleworking or you are going back into work right now, and you're thinking to yourself, that makes me want to cry. Maybe you have a little lump in your throat because you're like, I feel that. And then some of you are like, heck no, I go to work to get away from them kids. I don't relate to that at all. So that's okay. However you do feel about that, I want you to think of your why, and I want you to feel the emotion and the connection to Brooke just from her saying that. We all, if you have children, you felt that. You're just like, oh, like leaving your baby at home, a 6-week-old baby at home with a caretaker or daycare or whatever, like, oh, felt that, okay? That was my biggest fear when I was pregnant with Sterling, and a huge reason why I said yes. Prior to joining, I was considering being a secret shopper at grocery stores, a secret eater at restaurants, so I could take my baby in my carrier and do that and just bring in something. I was selling things out of my closet, pictures off the wall, anything and everything I could, dog sitting for crying out loud. I was trying to just bring an income in, because when I left corporate America to finish my pregnancy and he was deployed, that was $2,500 hit that we took. And as a military family, that seems like you're a millionaire. And so when you don't have that income coming in, it was scary. And that was something that I had to kind of suck it up, buttercup, swallow my pride, and just do the thing. So when you are thinking of that intimidating person, that scary person of, I just don't think I can message them. What if they're in my shoes, my old shoes? What if they're in a position just like that, and you're the one person that could reach out to them and make a difference? So just consider that option. When I was able to pay for my dream wedding in cash just 9 months after I started the business, I knew this business opportunity was gold, said by new senior Ruby, Hannah Kern. Fun story about Hannah. I'm really excited to share this story. So Hannah and I met in like one of the worst seasons of my life. I left Scott. I was living at home on my mom's couch, and I got a job at Texas Roadhouse. And I was like just this big fat loser, and just every penny mattered. I was trying to buy a car. I was trying to save my marriage. There's a lot of bad, horrible things happening. I just turned 21, and I met Hannah, and she was in college at the time. So she only came and went to Texas Roadhouse like every other weekend or whenever she was home. And I just loved her. And if you know Hannah, you just love her. She's a good time. She's so funny and relatable. And I just really liked her. So when she came in and worked the shifts with me, like, you know, if you've ever worked in the food industry, you have like your work friend, you know, she was my work friend. And that was the only relationship I had with her. So obviously Scott and I worked it out. We are now married and still married. And it's been a couple of years, and Hannah and I were still Facebook friends. So I'm posting about this Plexus stuff. She likes a couple of things, but I'm like, she's just being nice. Like, I couldn't really remember how I knew her. And then I'm like, oh yeah, we worked together. And then one night I posted this super non-compliant status. Maybe some of you remember it. Who has $39.95 in their bank account and wants to be debt free. So I had so many comments. A lot of them are ambassadors that knew the drill. They knew how to come in and support and encourage me on that post. But Hannah's comment stuck out, and I just was like, oh my gosh. And I'm like telling my husband, I'm like, this girl, it's going to be a diamond on my team. And he was like, you say that about everyone, dear. And I'm like, no, Hannah's amazing. And then I panicked. So she had been ordering Slim from me, or the triplex combo, or Slim and Accelerator. I can't even remember. It's been 6 years. She had been a customer a couple of times, and she always said like she loved it. But I had no idea she was interested in working the business aspect of this. obviously I had been sharing my why and sharing about the products and talking about how my life had been changing over that last year, because she joined me right before I went Senior Ruby and Emerald. And I just remember messaging her and thinking like, you want to like do this? And she was like, yeah, I just thought you didn't want me on your team because you never asked. And I just was like, dagger to the heart, like, what? Of course I want you on my team. And the rest was history. She's now a Senior Ruby, and she paid for her wedding in cash. It's incredible with her Plexus money. I just love her story so much. But that was a huge turning point in my business, was seeing there's so many things that Plexus offers off the scale. So often we get caught up in the weight loss side of this business, and there's so many things happening off the scale, whether it's, you know, autoimmune related or paying the bills related. And I think it's important for us, especially just about everybody on tonight is a leader and is at least senior silver or greater. And so I want you to consider that. And I want you to think about, some off-scale victories that you've had with Plexus. I challenged Amanda, I see you on the call. I challenged Amanda a couple months ago to, you know, pull up her 1099s and pull up bonuses, you know, take 3 minutes and just sit down and write every paycheck you can ever remember from Plexus. Sit down and write every achievement you can remember. Like, what award have you earned? Consistency Club? Have you earned Leaders Retreat? You know, any prize that you've won. Sit down and write all of those accomplishments down. And if that doesn't bring a smile to your face and remind you that you're doing this thing, man, I don't know what else you want out of this because it's so awesome to see. Okay. Next story. Someone else said, oh, Lauren, she said her promotion for me was instantaneous. I knew, okay. So I love that she said it was instantaneous belief, because as soon as you see someone you know rank up and go for something, and then you're like, okay, let me see that comp plan for a second. I didn't know what I was looking at, if I'm being 100% honest. The first time I looked at the comp plan, I was like, pretty colors, because it was like rainbow categorized. And I'm like, looks great. You know, I didn't really know until I watched a video by Sonia Dudley and read the full PDF. And I'm like reading through it to try to understand, like, okay, I just need to grow a team. Like, I need to grow a team of people and help them reach their goals to reach my goals. And this is how we're going to do this thing. And I just love that Lauren shared that, because she totally saw the vision for herself with someone else's promotion. So super cool. And Yvonne, she's an Emerald, one of my Emerald uplines. And she said, when I was gold or senior gold and I was lied about, and I took off from work, she worked for Victoria's Secret for a very long time. And they told me that they would pay me for that time off, and they didn't. And she never got paid. And then when she got her Plexus paycheck, it covered that gap for that time off that she needed. And so I remember that. She was heartbroken, and she had worked for Victoria's Secret for many, many years. So for them to treat her that way, she was just like, what? So poor management led to her going all in and growing a team that was just full of life. So I want you to think about something in your life that you just would never want to return to. What moment in your life is just like a hard no for you? Like, I don't ever want to go back. So for me, I jokingly will say, like, I could totally work at Chili's right now, or I could totally go work at Buckle. But just thinking about time away from my family, or late nights and cleaning up other people's messes that I already do all day long as a mom. Those are things that I don't want to do to make money. And not that those aren't admirable, amazing opportunities and jobs for people that do need them. That's just not what I want to do. I like working from my pajamas in my bed on my phone. Like, that's so fun. And I love social media, and I love talking to people. So I just want you to consider that and maybe write that down. If you aren't writing down a why, and if you're not writing down something like that, then I think it offers a new perspective. Let me turn this off so you don't hear Facebook. I'm going to go ahead and read some of the stories in the chat. Amanda shares, the moment I no longer was struggling with my anxiety every day, the time my paycheck started getting bigger also helped. Yeah, you're feeling happier, you're feeling better, and you're getting paid. I think it was Yvonne or maybe even like Tarl or somebody that said, you're getting paid to take your vitamin every day. Like, okay. That's like a great fun way to describe our job. So that would make a funny social media post this week of, I get paid to take my vitamins and talk about them. But I like having fun with this. Amanda, for someone like you that had struggled with anxiety and now you're coming out of your shell and you're building this social sharing business, that is a fun way to describe how you've done all that, how you come out of your shell. Like, y'all, I was like a little turtle hiding in my shell, and now I am getting paid to take my vitamins. And so turn those negatives into a positive. Turn your story around. I mean, you can talk about it and how awful it was and how sad you were and all the things, but you can also turn it around and talk about the greatness that has come from it because of a Facebook message from a friend on Facebook selling something, because there's a lot of bad raps around that, right? But we can change that. Lisa shares, well, I quit. And then the hate towards police got really bad. And I can't retire my husband on my salary alone, but I can with Plexus. I already love the products. I just never been committed to the business side, but I am now. I will be a jewel and I will retire my husband. Say it, claim it, affirm it. Yes, ma'am. You guys, Lisa triple promoted her first month back in Plexus to gold. So I firmly believe she is here and a Plexus lifer and she means what she says. Lisa, can we borrow just an ounce of that confidence and sass for just a minute? I felt all of that. Carolina, she says, my moment was when my husband told me he hated seeing me miserable, unhealthy, and unhappy. That he wanted me to call Emily back and say, I am in again and I will stick to it. To hear my biggest skeptic tell me I needed Plexus back in my life because he only remembers seeing the happiest and healthiest was when I was on Plexus. I felt motivated but so ashamed that I quit on myself, so it motivated me to finally send Emily my re-enrollment text message. And you guys, I get a lot of these re-enrollment text messages and I'm like, okay, come on back now. But a lot of people come back. If you've been here for a while, you know people come back because you feel good. This team makes you feel good and feel supported. Like, we're just like one big blanket. Like, if you've never had someone come love on your post that doesn't know you from Adam, that is like the best thing ever. We're like constant cheerleaders for each other. But most importantly, to feel yourself and to be consistent with your products that lead you to get up in the morning and make your bed and feel motivated. Carolina just went senior silver. She's doing this thing too, and she's not quitting, and she has learned to jump off that roller coaster of emotions of, okay, this person doesn't really feel like ordering. All right, okay, bye, Felicia, on to the next one. Like, you're going to have people like that in this business, but that can't stop you and deter your decision for your business and for your health. Just because they quit and were inconsistent, that doesn't mean I have to be. And that's a huge factor in why you're here and why you are still here. So many people will often say, well, my whole team quit. Obviously, I need to quit too. Like, no, build a new team. I lost half of my team 2 years ago. Half. Over 1,800 points in 3 months. Half. I had to make a new team. And look who's here in the Zoom call. You guys doing the things. So you can rebuild. You can rebuild. It might not look the same, it might not feel the same, might not taste the same, whatever, but you can rebuild, and I'm living proof of that. Taryn shares, my moment was at my day 11. I was able to play with my 1 and 2 year olds again. I had previously begged God to give me something to be able to watch my kids grow up, and he answered my prayers. I promised from that moment on that I would share with the world. That is so special, Taryn. I love that. And have any of you ever like bargained? Have you ever like prayed and talked to God like that, where you're like, all right, listen. Here's the thing. If you just take away my love for chocolate, I will work out 6 days this week. Or wait, Lord, wait. If you will just like send something my way, I will do blank. Have you ever done that? Like, you're praying and you're just walking around your house talking to the Lord like a crazy person. I do it all the time. And I like barter with him, and you know that he's like, that ain't how this works, girl. But I'd still do it anyways. But Taryn, I love that, not to bring silliness into your story. That is a very special why. And to be 11 days in and to notice that and to feel that, I just think that's remarkable. And like I said, somebody is praying for an answer to that. And you could be their answer. So keep that in the forefront of your brain and affirm it. Like, you have to believe that. You can't just be like, okay, Emily, whatever. Like, no, you have to say, I can answer someone's prayers because God has given me the ability to do that with Plexus. Like, I know we write down our affirmations at the end of every Zoom. Let that be one of them. I can be the answer to someone's prayers because God's allowed me to do that. You know, whatever that may look like. I did save this thing from Pinterest. It was for my kids. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to share it with you guys because we always wrap this up with affirmations. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. But these are a little bit different. It says what to tell myself when I'm feeling discouraged. So they are affirmations, but more so, some of you like forget your why. Well, if you write your why down and you slap it up in your car and in your bathroom and on the fridge, in the fridge, whatever, you're going to remember your why so you don't quit on yourself. But if you're feeling discouraged, I want you to remember these 5 things. Don't worry. When I'll put this picture in the team page in the chats. Number 1, this is tough, but so am I. If you have children, for the love, you are so tough. Remember that, okay? Number 2, I may not be able to control this situation, but I am in charge of how I respond to the situation. Have you ever felt, my husband's like, all the head nods over here. Have you ever felt that lack of control, or you reacted in a way and you're like, you know, out of body experience, and you're looking at yourself like, girl, like that ain't you, calm down. And then you're like, okay, I'm back. I've had moments like that, particularly on the days I don't take my Plexus. And it's true. We are in charge of how we respond to things. Number 3, I haven't figured this out yet. That's the key word. You will. Tina Fey has one of my favorite quotes. I share this all the time. Just do it, figure it out later. Just do it, figure it out later. That's like my best advice to all new people that join Plexus. Just join. We'll figure this out later. We'll have a launch event later. Well, whatever, just do it. Number 4, this challenge is here to teach me something. I think that is one of the greatest perspectives I've ever tried on, is understanding, like, not looking up to the sky and asking God, like, why me? Don't ever say, why me? Or really? Like, me and my mom have this joke because she'll start to say it and I'll be like, no, don't ask him that because it comes in 3s. He'll send something else. So now we're just like, this is teaching me something. I'm going to learn from this. This is teaching me something. And you do. You will learn from it. And you'll grow new perspective from it, okay? Number 5, all I need to do is take it one step at a time, breathe, and then do the next right thing. So something that my son's teacher used to say to him last year was, are you doing your best work? Make sure you're doing your best work, because he would get sloppy or not, you know, he was writing his E's backwards and his Y's backwards. And she would just remind him, you know, are you doing your best work? Are you paying attention? And this number 5 kind of reminded me of that, of take it one step at a time. Like, that person is wanting to quit and not wanting to take their triplex correctly, right? Bless and release. Stop responding to the messages. Go feed your kids. Go watch Netflix. Come back and have a new conversation. I think my biggest thing that I've noticed myself lately, like if I'm irritable with my children, or I didn't take my products, which obviously makes me more irritable, but if I'm like in the car and I have like road rage, my husband's probably gonna start laughing, but I have like this road rage and I take it out, my irritability with my children, I'm taking out on this 37-year-old man who doesn't know me, and he's like, lady, chill out. And I'm like so angry in my car. And then my kids reenacted for my husband when we get home. And so I'm like, oh, that's what I look like? I'm a savage. Like, it's so I have to calm down and breathe and remember that this challenge is here to teach me something. I cannot control this, but I know how I can respond to it, right? But just keep those 5 things in mind the rest of the week. People are back in their jobs. Their kids are back in school. Schedules have once again shifted. We're getting closer to the elections, and just stress is high, and we have two things that people need: products that lower cortisol levels. Thank you, Vital Bio. And we have, I lost my train of thought. We have products that lower people's stress levels. Oh, and we have this passion for serving others. There's no other team more passionate than the people on our team. And I know because most of you are twos on the Enneagram, and that just means you have big old servant's hearts that I don't understand. But somehow deep down inside, I have one too. But you guys are here to serve and love others, and you do it well when you grow a pair and you have your confident pants on and you remember your affirmations and you remember the story you put in the chat. You remember why. On the days that someone tells you no, just take it, let it roll off your back, right? Here comes that no. Woo, like the Matrix, okay? You just dodge it. Turn on a good song and just, oh, she told me no, and just like do the Dougie or something. I don't know. My kids like to dab right now, so they're dabbing every time I tell them to do something. They're like, no, Mom. And I'm like, oh, okay. We're not dabbing to Mom's requests. But you can dab to people's no's if that makes you feel better. But seriously, turn it around. Turn those negatives into positives. Like a no, I mean, unless they're cursing at you, it's usually not right now because we're in worldwide weirdness right now. So keep that in mind. I'm going to go ahead and end this Zoom. Thank you guys for getting on.